Alright, what is going on, everybody? Still working on the SCX10 It is now Sunday morning. I have assembled the links. Those are all assembled. They have a little notch on one side of them. And it says that's important, but I will say the end opposite of the little notch has a left-hand thread on it. So you do have, doesn't point that out anywhere. And the weak link, no pun intended, to the suspension is your little track bar here. This is a little 3mm rod. You got 6mm links, and then your track bar is a little 3mm rod. I imagine they did that for clearance or something. I really don't know yet, but we'll see. Drive shafts are assembled. Didn't record that on. It's kind of hard to get that on video anyway because it's a bunch of little bitty parts, but they're all ready to go. I have attached one side to the transmission like it shows here in step E1. So now we are going to move on to the chassis. There's a lot to this chassis. One other thing I will note is this chassis was designed around a Spectrum servo because Horizon, who owns Axial, also owns Spectrum. So if you're using about anything other than that, you'll have to do a little notching on your servo mount. All I had to do was square this corner out a little bit and then put a little clearance in this little corner up here. Probably kind of hard to see, but pretty simple. Just did it with a hobby knife. And the kit does come with a 25 and 23 spline aluminum servo horns, but I'm using a high-tech servo, and that is a 24 spline. So I have an Axial 24 spline servo horn, clamping style servo horn. I think that'll give me the same clearance. It's the same length. We'll try it and find out when we get to that point. So we're going to get rolling here on the suspension. Now I will say, the way the links are in the instructions, I think they could have done better keeping things kind of separated. I don't know. It's hard to say what I'm thinking, but it is what it is. Anyway, let's move on. What do we got here? We need the upper link for the front. Get him in there. They are showing the bottom hole. There are 3 holes in the, and they're showing going through the bottom one. Really? Yeah, okay. So apparently you got to thread it through both sides. Alright, now where's our skid at? Right here. Now these guys lock down on the skid plate like that, which is, I don't know, I guess that does the job, huh? And we have a 8 and a 10 screw to hold them on. Alright, now we have our lower links. That is a, what is that, a 3 by 18. Okay, there are the links for, yeah, there are the links attached to the skid. Alright, I was away for a minute, but I'm back now. Had a little bit of an issue there. A couple blobs of plastic inside the screw holes there on the skid that I had to cut out with a hobby knife, but it is what it is. These things happen. Not a big deal. Alright, now we will move on to the servo. And we got 4 big old fat head screws for that. Servo is mounted. Now we have some little, this guy and this guy. Yes. No, not that guy. The other guy. This guy. And our track bar. Uh, 109. It is a 14 millimeter. Alright, get the track bar mounted to the bracket. Kind of an odd way to do a track bar, but whatever floats your boat. He goes on there like that. And that is a 3 by 8 countersunk head. By the countersunk head. Alright. Takes care of him. Now we can actually break out a frame rail. We want this guy, this guy. Our servo goes in like these. Alright. I appear to be extremely unorganized this morning. Now the fun begins of trying to hold all this stuff together. Alright. Everything kind of sandwiches everything else. Not sure how I feel about that. Okay. Everything sandwiching everything there. Now we can set him aside. And we need this guy. Oh, can't set him aside just yet. What is 114? 8mm button head. And this actually, you see that you got a little notch here in the frame. I don't know how well you can see that right there in the frame. And this has a little slit in it, and it slides right over that slit. Kind of sandwiches the frame rail. Okay, now we can set him aside. We got the old big boy here. We need that. We need this one and this one. Okay. This guy goes in here. All right. Well, at least that hole lines up. Moving on to the next page. Those are 1/16s, 3x12 button heads, excuse me. And what am I doing here? This one. But we will prevail. Oh, let's see here. Okay. Let's get him ready. Once again, he slips over there. Snug them fellas down. All right. Let's pop in our rear bumper mount. Now the screws that hold this guy in also hold on the inner fenders, so it doesn't show putting any screws in there. Okay, dag nabbit. Now that that's done, we can drop the tranny in. Drop the tranny in like that. Now please tell me at least these holes line up with each other. Damn it. That one does. That's one. That's two. These kind of don't have any choice. Or do they? Or do they? It's three. I ain't even tell you yet. Alright. Make sure he's snug. Okay. Now, alright. There is the basic chassis, and I gotta tell you, Axial could have done a better job with some of that. some of the fit on that. The shock towers, the holes are about a ½ millimeter farther apart than the holes in the frame. So it's a little bit of a fight to get everything to line up. Once you get everything lined up, get the screws started, they go in okay. But it's a little bit of a fight to get them lined up. That's really the biggest issue, and I think I've mentioned before, the holes in some of the plastic pieces where the screws go in are a little smaller than they need to be. It can be a bit of a bear to get the screws to start in some of those holes. Once you get them started, they're fine, but getting them started can be a little bit of a fight. Other than that, everything, I mean, everything goes together. It's pretty rigid, pretty sturdy, but it is a little bit of a fight. I am almost 2 hours in to get to this point, because I was fighting some of the parts, getting stuff to line up. I mean, molding plastic, and you kick it out of the mold, it can move around a little bit. I can see that, but I don't know. That's why you pop a few of them out, you test things, you adjust things. You shouldn't have to fight with it quite that much. I mean, not that it's not something doable. It's just it's a pain. I've put together kits before where you didn't have to deal with all that, and it does make it very difficult to get the stuff on video because you're kind of prying and holding with one hand while you're trying to put the screw in with the other hand, and boy howdy, it's quite the experience. But like I said, it's a pretty stiff chassis. There are more stiffeners that go in. It's got a little flex to it, but it's not terrible. I'll go around, double check, make sure all my screws are nice and tight, without over tightening them and everything before I move on. But that'll do it this time around. I'll do the axle install in a separate video, because this one's already going to run longer than what I usually like to do. So until next time, later.